Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to Sea Goat Secrets. Hi, Sea Goats. So I wanted to give you a quick update about some of the things that have gone on. The website has now been finished, so all of your readings and healing work are directed completely there. The Instagram shop will be up by the end of today, and so will the Facebook shop. Trying to think what else. The packages have also been added as well. And, oh, great news. So here on this channel, I'm going to be creating a private membership, community for those of you guys that are interested in more of the meditative, directly healing work. Here on Sea Goats, we focus on readings and astrology and history and all of the above. But privately, I am going to be doing more meditative work, healing the body, mind, and spirit, especially because many of you are going through healing. And privately, I've worked with so many of you at this point, and really, it's a lot of deep healing that work that we've been doing together. So I want to make it so that here you can just chime into that as well, and also bringing some more of those private meditations to the Instagram over time as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. If you guys can go in the comments and tell me some of the things that you'd like to see and work on. I was thinking more deep breathing work, slight yoga, how to repair in a moment when it seems like anxiety is hitting you, truly going through trauma healing, especially for those of you guys that have not joined some of the bigger packages. This is an ability to kind of do it in a more general way and create a community within that respect on top of the Sea Goat Secrets world that we have here. So, and like I said, it's going to be on this channel. I believe that YouTube allows me to just create a membership and then the videos will be there, but they are privatized. So I look forward to it. Again, tell me anything that you guys are thinking in the comments, and then we'll see what we can do moving forward. Love you. Ciao. Well, now it's time to get to the video. Alright, so Capricorn, this is the Toxic Relationships video part 3, and this is the healing video, which I'm very happy about, because you guys really resonated with the other two in terms of telling the story and feeling like, the depths of who you are were heard, because as I keep saying, so much of this commercialized astrology that you see on the internet just does not reflect you very well at all whatsoever. And most of it is a popularity contest based on astrology post-Greece, and all the ways in which it was kind of taken in a shallow place during Rome, and that's all that stuff for another video. But here you're understood, and I'm excited to dive into how you can better heal yourself. I'm going to start, however, with talking a little bit more about bullying and why is it that you experience that and how your relationships are a reflection of that. Because again, this is not necessarily just about romance, but the things that you have attracted in general. So the thing about you guys, as I've mentioned in the past, you can become a natural scapegoat. And bullying is something that you have experienced, pretty much almost all of you have experienced some form of bullying in your life, especially as children, and you can kind of prolong that into adulthood. And a part of the reason why is because you give off an air of perfectionism. So similar to Virgo, perfectionism is something that is kind of easy for you to come by. Virgo strives for perfection and lives their lives trying to achieve it, without always realizing that it's something that they kind of naturally give off. Because they work so hard toward it. You don't work toward perfectionism, you work toward refinement, even though most of the time it's subconscious to you. it is ultimately the desire to be statuesque. So the way in which your life continues to refine you just by nature, because of the things you have to survive and triumph through, you end up coming off so chiseled. And even though in your mind you're not seeing it or you don't feel that way, you're giving off that energy. So because you're giving off that energy, bullying is something that comes quite natural to you. It's like you're a magnetic person. So you attract a lot of attention, even though most of you do not desire attention that is outside of your control. Even those of you who have higher placements in the fire alignments. For example, I'm the kind of person that has fire in almost all of my life path placements. Like, like my North Node, for example, is in fire. My Midheaven is in fire. My Chiron is in fire. So attention is something that when you have those kind of placements, it's something that kind of naturally comes to you. But you, Capricorn, are the kind of person where you don't necessarily, it's not that you don't want it, it's that you want it to be under your control, and you really don't like negative attention. You don't like anything that feels dramatic, but it's really because you don't want anything that feels traumatic. You usually associate drama with trauma, and it's because of things that you have experienced. A lot of people don't necessarily understand that about you or know how to really respect that about you. And that goes into my next point of, yes, being magnets for bullying, magnets for drama, and then magnets for people that do not respect your need for peace. And it's almost like the kind of rebellious character types that you guys attract get off on pushing you out of your comfort zone. So they will know that you desire peace and refinement, or a life with very little ups and downs, right? And you like to put all your passionate energy, the thing that most people put into like human relations or drama or, I don't know, like fighting, etc., or that all of that same energy you have. People have assumed you to be stereotypically boring, but obviously you guys know, as Capricorns in the real world, no one really looks at you as boring in real life. But when you research yourself, you're supposed to be boring. But there isn't anything really actually boring about you guys. You, like Virgo, desire to come off a little bit more boring than you actually are. Because you're always kind of trying to keep it together based on all of the load of things that you're trying to carry and overcome. Virgo wants to come off as boring because Virgo as well has been carrying a lot of baggage and is, trying to get themselves out of those Piscean waters and into a much more cleaner place, but there's always some kind of mess that they feel like they have to clean up. In your case, it's not necessarily mess, it's more like, trauma. A lot of experiences, a lot of difficulties, and you want to get to a place where sometimes you guys just want to feel like you're on dry land, which is what can cause you to separate from your emotional body in the first place, because it can feel like being there is quite overwhelming and scary. The people, the toxic relationships in which you attract are aware of this. They are aware of your skittishness, the ways in which you can kind of be afraid to go too deep or dive too deep or deal with things that are out of your control or overwhelming. You attract bullies, like I said in the past, and there's nothing a bully loves more than someone who is afraid of a fight. And it's not to say that you guys are cowards, it's that you don't want the mess. Like with everything in your power, you're just like, you don't want it, and you just want things to be simplistic, but that air of refinement that you give off always makes you come off as superior in situations, even though you don't necessarily always want to be that way. The sign that comes after you is Aqua, and Aqua, a part of their battle in life is struggling with their egos in terms of having a superiority complex. They're the opposite of Leo, because both signs really struggle with their egos, but just in two different ways. Leo has a more obvious ego where it's attention in a more obvious way, bullying in a more obvious way, superiority in a more obvious way, whereas Aqua, they do it in a way that is the ultimate form of pretentiousness, which is pretend. Like, I use the joke of like dark-sided Aqua energy is someone who steals so if you look at the zodiac, right? sorry to get off track, but I just want to make it clear. So a Capricorn, because of a Capricorn's trauma, will create a nonprofit organization because Capricorn actually went through being human trafficked, and then Capricorn got out of it, survived it, and then created an organization for human trafficking. A dark-studded Aqua will come, manipulate the Capricorn out of their business by pretending to be their partner, steal the business, and then give an image, you know, create an Instagram and a whole and a whole online platform. I am the representation for human trafficking, even though the Aqua never went through anything like that, doesn't know anyone who's gone through it, and doesn't care at all because of that cold air sign detachment. But they can be the water bearer, so they can bear waters, and they want to come off like humanitarians, even though it's not actually authentic. And they use it as a form of superiority. They can fake emotions, they can fake compassion, fake care. Aqua energy is very, very dangerous in terms of how it can manipulate. But like I said, that's for another video when I go into the dark side of Aqua energy for the Pluto transit. But this bringing back to my point in terms of you, Capricorn, and how this relates to you. You're the person that started the organization, right? Because you actually went through this experience. So for you, you're trying to create the kind of dynamic where it's as much healing or as much like peace as possible, something that's as simplistic as possible. But other people don't have the same baggage that you do, so they don't care the same way that you do. And again, you attract people who see you as an easy target because it's clear that you have all of these things. Like in this scenario, the person was aware of the organization that you had and saw that it was this great thing that you created, but you don't realize your value. You come off as with a strong sense of value, but you're not always realizing it because of the fact that you are of yin. So why is it that Capricorn can struggle with their egos in terms of either completely being avoided of one or going into narcissism to make up for not having a healthy one? The reason why is because you are like the king of the yin world. You know, as a Capricorn, you represent earth and water. You are one of the exalted yin signs, you and Pisces. So you don't live in the world, you live of the other world. But you desire to be on land, much like when you were in ancient Sumeria and you represented a human that, well, a water creature that would step out of the ocean and go on land during the day to assume certain duties and then go back into the water, right? So that's what Capricorn represented during that time. And you see it hundreds, or I guess thousands of years later, and you still have this desire to step out of the water and go into land. And I think it was in Greece again when it was something about the sea goat. That's a video for another day. But yeah, you always desire to step out of that more safe space that comes so natural to you, that kind of quiet, awkward space, your emotional space, your tenderness, and you really want to be in the world. You want to be where the people are. But you often end up getting burned because it's just not your element. And you have a strong sense of self, whether you realize it or not, and you always come off like you're the best at what it is that you do, even if you don't feel that way. So you're a magnet for people that are out to battle ego with ego, but it's not your kind of fight because you're not very yang at all. And so this kind of creates the kind of dynamic where you attract people who have these egos, people who are these users, people who are bullies, because they're attracted to what they think is similar to them in you, which is something that is strong, something that is the real thing. You know, I can't tell you how many Capricorns I've seen that were magnets for narcissists because the narcissist saw that the Capricorn had the real deal of let's say they were in the industry, in the music industry, and the Capricorn had the real music, they had a real voice, and they wrote their lyrics, and it was authenticity. That's very classic of Capricorn, a true authentic talent, right? And the other person will come and they will see Capricorn and they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to take this person and I'm going to use this person because this person has what everyone else in this room really wants. Everyone else in this room is pretending to have it, but the Capricorn actually has it and is kind of hiding in the background. So because you don't necessarily own yourself or give value to yourself the way that you should, other people know how to exploit you. And it's so funny because words like exploitation, words like or phrases like I use are Capricorn words. So you would think that you would be better at exploiting yourself and utilizing yourself, or doing this to other people. And so people assume that you do this to them, but the reality is you do this with things. You use materials, things outside of yourself. Dark-sided Capricorns can definitely use other people. Dark-sided Capricorns can definitely be major exploiters. Don't get me wrong. But to which you do that, because you are the karmic sign, other people will very quickly do the same thing back to you. Versus the rest of you Capricorns get used and are exploited by others. And the reason why is because you need to go within yourself and give it all to yourself. Exploit your own talents and your own abilities. Stand on stage, get from the background and own who it is that you are. You want to be where the people are, but it does not start with the people, it starts with you. Okay? Don't go looking for your ego in someone else. Don't go looking for support or love or that light that you feel like you're missing because you've lived in the dark. It's not in someone else, it's in yourself. You can light up yourself as your own star, but it's going to be done your way. Okay? You're not in the same realm of the yang, okay, of the land like the rest of these people are. You are not living on dry land. You are that that is not, even if you are more of a mountainous Capricorn, you're still different. You still have an energy about you that doesn't quite fit. Okay, so instead of trying so hard to strip yourself, you need to embrace those things about you and move forward in a way that makes more sense toward what it is that you're trying to create for yourself. 14 minutes. Okay, so now that that lecture is over, how can we get, I was pretty much using it in order to get to the next place, because I don't think I mentioned enough of this in the last video, but I was using this in order to get to a place to talk about your healing and what it is that you need to do. So, of course, put yourself in the spotlight, give more energy to yourself, exploit yourself, utilize yourself. So all of those hidden talents and abilities that you have because of your inquisitive mind has picked up many different things throughout the years, and you tend to read a lot, or if not that, you tend to learn a lot, especially because you Capricorn feminines in particular, because you felt like you had to kind of learn the world on your own because either one or both of your parents were not able to create you or guide you or really govern you to be the person that it is that you wanted to be. And so you kind of had to learn who it is that you are, or learn what it is that you wanted out of the world through your own means. So you've developed a lot of very interesting talents, a lot of interesting abilities, a very beautiful mind. Continue to explore that, continue to expand on that. Especially during this time. I'm going to be making the Leo new moon video in a few minutes. And in that video, I'm going to be talking a lot about passion and how this new moon is awakening your passions for you and your creativity, your sexual energy, your drive, your intensity. These are the things that you need to embrace within yourself and be unapologetic about them. Stop looking for you outside of you. It does not exist in someone else. That the way in which your inquisitive mind tends to look at things that are on the outside and try to find yourself in it has caused you a major imbalance. It's about centering back into the self, spending more time in the mirror and looking directly at you and only you. And that is where you'll find your healing point in terms of no longer attracting these dynamics. One of the questions you guys asked was was Capricorn able to have a healthy relationship because it is a karmic sign? The answer is yes, but only through when you release your own karma. Karma is neither good nor bad, karma just is. It just is. What goes out comes within. And if you were born as a Capricorn in any placement, it represents karma that existed before you got here. And it was your soul's choice to experience a life of karmic retribution. So, and that was to refine you, to make you something else, to make you something more. So at this point, it is not about reminiscing on or ruminating on the traumas of the past in a negative way, but it's about understanding that through growth, through opposition created your growth. through the depths of change and transformation through this pressurized experience created the person that you are right now. And you actually don't want to be the person that you once were. You want to be the person that you are right now. And you need to take a deep breath, breathe deep, look around you, and see that who it is that you are right now is much more beneficial than who it is that you once were. And give that energy solely, again, to yourself. If you've recently lost connections, if you lost relationships, if you lost your job, if you lost whatever it is that you felt like you lost, was there in order to remind you how to gain. If you went through a monetary loss, it made it so that you had to pivot yourself in order to understand, okay, how is it that I can generate more in a way that utilizes something that maybe is more easy for you. How it made it so that you had to kind of go to the drawing board and see how can you do things in a way that's more gracious, because you needed the return very quickly. So start to look at these things that have opposed you in a more positive light, and you'll learn to appreciate yourself more instead of looking at yourself through this kind of downtrodden lens, because when you're doing that, you're sending out a vibration that you're not enough, that you are wounded, that you are broken, and you need someone else to lift you up. In this life, we don't need anyone else to lift us up but ourselves, really. We have it within ourselves to do and be everything that it is that we desire. And it's not to downplay your experiences or to tell you to just buck up. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is start to look for the silver lining in who it is that you are. Even if you think, oh, this is bad or this is negative, that's not what it is. It is something that is powerful. It's something that makes you authentic. It's something that makes you uniquely you. That is extremely beneficial. And when it comes to true partnerships, one of the biggest things that tends to happen when it comes to partnerships is this idea that or you guys tend to believe that only through perfection can you achieve love. And that is not true. The truest forms of love happen actually in the opposite of perfectionism. It is through that raw, authentic connection that you have with someone is where the truest love is formed. There's a phrase, I think it's through destruction, love was born, right? So through destruction, love is born. Oftentimes, the depth of love happens in the spaces that are the most raw, not the spaces that are perfect, you know? I'm checking the time again, but you don't have to prove that you're deserving of anyone. You don't have to prove that you're deserving of anyone's attention, love, support, acceptance. The moment you put yourself in a position to feel like you have to prove that, or that it's something that you have to constantly show, especially for you feminines, many of you do not rest in your own energy and understand that you're deserving and you're worthy. You believe that you have to prove it. You believe that you have to show it. Oh, this is what I can do for you. This is how I can benefit your life. This is what I have. This is the moment you start doing that, you sign yourself up for a bad situation, because love just is. It just is. Love can be found anywhere. When the interesting thing, speaking of 8th house energy and the Leo new moon, the beautiful thing about 8th house energy or Scorpio placements in general are they tend to create something in a person where they tend to like the things in life that are taboo. If you've ever met someone who lived in, I don't know, Berlin or New York City or Paris, right? And they love the city, they love the grind, they love that the grit of it. And those are the spaces where they feel like they thrive the most. They don't want to live in a paradise. They don't want to live in a place that doesn't have that intensity to it. And here you see a person who has genuine, intense love for all of these things that are so very clearly imperfect, for all of these things that aren't proving very much. Beauty is always said to be at its best when it's something that doesn't require effort. You have to take out that desire for hard work out of the way you think you are deserving of love. I keep telling you guys to apply the way you look at love, the way you look at your career, but only through the vetting process, right? When saying, okay, what is the ROI? If I brought this person into my life, how would it benefit me? Okay, would this person take from me or would they give to me? And it's not through materials, it's not through anything outside of that, it's through the depth of what it is that you need, especially because many of you guys know how to do a lot of things on your own. There isn't actually very much that you need from people most of the time. But what you need, the thing that you are missing is in here. It happens all within here. So your vetting process should be based on what feels the most authentic and what feels the deepest and what feels the truest. And that is where you'll find what it is that you desire the most and break through the karma of feeling like you cannot find that authentic connection, and it's bad situation after bad situation. If you look back on how you originally met that person, did you feel like you had to prove yourself? Were you doing a song and dance to try to convince them? Or did they love bomb you into submission? They were using you for something. The people that desire you the most in the truest way will not even be super invested in what it is that you do or have or create. They are going to be mostly invested on who you are in your soul. Another big thing from there as well is, again, you guys want to be where the people are, so you tend to put on a face, an ego face. You know, your social mask is strength and power and resilience, and you can, again, you're trying to adapt to that which is yang, and it's burning you. The sun, the sun is burning you. When you do that, you're not being completely authentic to who it is that you are. So again, you're attracting people that don't know how to feed you emotionally, because you're disconnecting from an entire half of who you are and only aligning with the beast of the goat, right? The I can handle it, I can do it all, the sun, the land experience, but you're completely disconnecting from your sensitivity, your vulnerability, and your truth. So when you only show the world one, well, you're attracting what it is that you're showing. And then you get close to these people, or these people get close to you, and then they start to feel like you're mucky, right? They want to disconnect from you. They don't know how to emotionally feed you, and it feels like you're going around and around in circles. The next thing you know, you're next to someone that you don't really know. They betray you. They gaslight you. They leave you. They bully you, they abuse you, and you're sitting in confusion as to why. Well, you attracted a bully, and it's not even necessarily to say that they just looked at you as an easy target when they met you. It's the face that you were giving off, that the person you were showing up in the world as, ultimately confused anyone who's looking at your external image. So they get close and they find out that actually you have this very soft center. Well, let's begin the fight. And the thing about a bully is you're a wonderful target because you sit at an intersection of having both. All of the things that Yang values and all of this soft, vulnerable center that makes it so that you're easy to control and submit.